There's a bit of a story behind this picture that doesn't have anything to do with the lens or the camera. Well, it kind of does. Basically, this picture is in a way a representation of my photography journey, you might say. Kevin, the guy in the picture, is a friend of mine. He's a former coworker, and he's the one, along with my other friend Ryan, who 4 years ago originally got me and my wife started in photography. And at the time, my wife and I had a son who was I don't know, about 9 months old, and we realized the pictures that we got of him were not that great. We had a pocket camera. It was a little Panasonic pocket camera. It worked fine, but it was slow to focus, and the pictures were always kind of blurry, and we had to use the flash all the time. And I didn't know anything about photography. I mean, nothing. And Kevin came over one day, and he brought his Nikon D200, and he had a 50 millimeter lens, and I thought, this is it. And I kind of, in one afternoon, I kind of saw the light, and I had been talking to Kevin and Ryan about getting a better camera. And like everybody else out there who was in the same situation, I thought a better camera would fix my problems. And I was looking at the time, like a Nikon D3100 or a Canon Rebel, like a T3i or something like that. And Kevin and Ryan were insistent on the camera not being so much of a deal as the lens. And I didn't understand what that meant because I didn't know how any of this worked. So he came over to my house. He took a few pictures of my son. He let me play around with this camera. And almost immediately, my wife and I, our whole outlook was changed, and we realized that they were right. It's not the camera, it's the lens. And the D200 at the time was an old camera, and it's still an old camera now, even 4 years older. But it still takes good pictures. Now, I didn't take this picture with a D200. I used my D70 or 750, which is a super awesome full frame camera, and it's better in, I guess you could say it's better in every way than a D200, but they both take good pictures, and the camera is not the point here. The point is that this picture I could have never taken 4 years ago when I started, and I had no idea how to even go about approaching a photo like this. I had no idea about composition, about framing, about where I wanted the light to come into play, about what I wanted, the kind of the story I want to tell. It's an engagement photo, and hopefully you can tell that because you can see her engagement ring on the lower left-hand side of the picture. Anyway, Kevin asked me about 2 months ago if I would take engagement photos for him. And so it was sort of like this whole thing coming full circle, where years ago I was asking Kevin, how do I take better pictures? Help me with photography. And he did. He helped me learn basically everything I know now about picture taking. And here I was now being asked to take his pictures in this really special time in his life. So to me, it's not about, this picture isn't about like the photographic process, about, well, so you need this aperture and this lens and all that. It's more about kind of a visual representation of how far I've come as a photographer. I'm not saying like this is a super awesome picture, but seeing this reminds me of, man, I sure have learned a lot, and I have this guy to thank for it. So thanks, Kevin, if you're listening to this. I appreciate everything, and I'm looking forward to learning even more in the coming years about photography, and congratulations on your engagement. You guys are a fantastic couple. You're going to have a wonderful life together. Thank you.